Mr. President and Vice Chancellor, it is my honor to present to you Ms. Annette Verschuren, visionary business leader. Ms. Verschuren grew up on a dairy farm in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. When her father was incapacitated by a heart attack at a young age of 42, she and her 4 siblings took up his responsibilities. She credits this difficult turn of events with instilling in her the assertiveness and fortitude that served her so well in her career. Those personal qualities were on full display when she helped first Michael's Craft Stores, then Home Depot, expand rapidly across Canada. Home Depot's meteoric rise led its US headquarters to appoint her to lead the company's expansion into China. Grâce à son sens des affaires et à son expérience en entrepreneuriat, Madame Verschuren est très sollicitée à titre de conseillère auprès de grandes sociétés, de centres d'innovation et de gouvernement. Mais elle poursuit également ses activités sur le terrain en tant que chef d'entreprise. Since 2012, she has led NRStor Inc., which installs, maintains, and operates the latest in large-scale battery technology. By partnering with remote indigenous communities to deliver clean energy microgrids that reduce dependence on diesel fuel, NRStor combines 3 qualities that Concordians value: sustainability, entrepreneurship, and social responsibility. Mr. President and Vice Chancellor, on behalf of Senate and the Board of Governors, it is my privilege and honor to present to you Ms. Annette Verschuren so that you may confer upon her the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
I'd like to invite Dr. Verschuren to make her convocation remarks.
What a thrill it is to be here. Good afternoon. Bonjour tout le monde. Je suis très honorée. I'm so excited to receive this honorary doctorate from this great university. I can't tell you how privileged I am to be in front of all of you. Mr. President, Vice Chancellor, honored platform guests, most importantly, the class of 2019, the John Molson School of Business, and all your family and friends. To be here today, to be part of this wonderful opportunity means everything to me. The Vice Chancellor talked about the changes of this new world. I started working in very male-dominated businesses 43 years ago. I started in a coal mining company, and then subsequently have worked in many organizations, but the change that I'm seeing over the last number of years has been so exciting. And the filter system that I've used all of my life were 2. And I learned it at a very young age. Sustainability, whatever you call it, but it is sustaining the earth, sustaining what we take from Mother Nature, sustaining what we take from the planet, and diversity. Diversity of thought. I learned along the way that I had a different voice at the table, but I needed more of my voices around that table. And everywhere I worked and I came, I brought other voices to the table. A couple of stories. When I was a little girl, my father had that heart attack, and we were a young family, and we were running the farm, and there was a lot of labor in the farm. And so my father had to find a way to reduce the labor out of the farm. And for those of you who are not farmers, you know that there's a lot of manure on a farm. and we did a lot of shoveling of manure. I would normally say the other word, but I'm not in this context. So my father found a way to reduce the labor of the kids. He found a way to liquefy that manure because he faced a really big problem. He had to give up the farm, or he had to find a way to be innovative and creative and use the resources that he had. So he went to the Farm Loan Board to try to get money for this pit that he had to build in this water system. And he developed a system that would basically liquefy the manure. He'd stir it with a machine, and he'd put it on the land all year round. It increased the productivity of the farm by 25%. It got rid of the fertilizer. It got rid of the escalating machine that would carry all this manure full of straw. And I discovered, when I was 12 years old, that efficiency and productivity often came through using the resources that you have in a different way. And I learned from that. And I have taken that with me all of my life. And so I started my career at home, well, started in the coal mining business, did all kinds of interesting things. And I just saw the importance of inclusiveness. I love the Vice Chancellor's speech today because we have so much to learn from the Indigenous people. And to the class of 2019, if we started thinking in the longer term, if we started making our decisions without having to get results in a quarter or very short periods of time, we will think differently about how we run our institutions, how we run our governments, how we run our companies. And shareholders are important, but stakeholders today are more important. And you have to give more emphasis to the environment, to the social aspects of life, to the corporate governance area. When I was at Home Depot, I was running a division of the organization in the United States. And I had a lot of gay and lesbian people working for me. And in Canada at the time, for 25 years, we have given benefits, right, to the LGBTQ community, Q community. And so I didn't realize that that was happening in the United States. And so at the time, there weren't any companies that were giving rights to partners of gay and lesbian people. And I just couldn't believe this was happening. And so I went to the president of Home Depot and the vice president of human resources, and I said, I can't believe that in Canada, you know, we take care of these people. They have wonderful contribution to make, and they represented about 20% of the division that I was running. And it was amazing. They did this. And they turned that, we were one of the first companies in the United States to do that. And the reason behind this story is that you have to include everybody. You have to invite everybody at the table to help you make decisions. An inclusive environment with diverse opinions make much better decisions than one group of people that are homogenous. It doesn't work anymore that way. So bring to the table these two things, and it will really, really make a difference. When I left Home Depot, I wanted to do something big. I had one more in me. I was 55 years old, and I really wanted to do something to give back to the planet. I went around the world with my husband, Stan, who's here today, up in the loge up there, and saw water, food, and energy as the three big things that needed resolution, particularly, you know, and I think big application by business. And then so I decided on energy storage. And in 2012, started this company called NRStor. And we're doing amazing things. But two of the biggest projects that I'm working on, one is a major energy storage development in Ontario with the First Nations First Nations group that will be 50% owner of this facility, because I believe in partnership. And if we truly want to give back to the communities and reconcile with them, we have to become business partners with them. We have to help train and retrain them. We have to help them get benefits of the returns on investment that we make. We have to do all of that and truly treat them equally. Another project that we're working on is in Nunavut, and we are getting a community off diesel generation. And diesel fuel is literally flown into these communities. The pollution is enormous. We have to make this change. But one of the things that, I wrote this book because a lot of people said, Annette, how did you get where you are? You know, how did you do this? And I wrote this book called Bet on Me. And one of the chapters is this, and this is this advice I give to every one of the students. It's called Mediocre Strategy, Great Execution. We wait too long. We want to analyze everything to death, and then it's too late. You learn way more by going at it quickly and fixing it along the way. This is everything in life. Have the courage to go faster on strategy, but make sure the execution of what you do is superb. It's amazing. And that's where you learn. That's where you learn. You fix it, you make it right along the way. The other thing, I put myself in many situations on the line. I got operational experience when no one was going to give it to me. I remember I said to Prudy Crawford, I got a job offer to be vice president of Amasco, which is a big job here in Montreal, years ago. And I said, here's the deal. You let me run something. Women get pigeonholed into positions where they can't operate something. I want an income statement to be responsible for. I want to manage people. And he honored that commitment. And that's how I had a break. I asked for it, I got a break, and I got that operational experience that moved me into Michael's store, moved me into building out the Home Depot from, $650 million in sales to $6 billion over about a 10-year period. And I'll tell you, critically important. So I've always taken risks. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. I bat 500, so every good decision I make, I screw up one. And I think that's really important to do. If you don't mess up, screw up, you're never going to get ahead. Remember that. Life isn't perfect, and it's okay to mess up. It's okay to be in conflict. It is okay because you can move ahead, because you got enormous talent, and you're graduating from the best schools in the world, the John Molson Business School here in Concordia. I'm just going to close my comments by, again, thanking the university for this great honor. I love having the opportunity to speak with the students, the graduates. I get you for 7 minutes, and I wish I could tell you everything. But I want to leave you with things that are really important. 2 weeks ago at Cape Breton University, where I'm chancellor, Ovid Mekredi, who was First Nations Grand Chief, I think during 1992, 94, 96, left this message. And he said, can you imagine if the Europeans that came to North America had two principles that they lived with? One would be, everyone has the human right to belong. And the second principle would be that everybody has the human right to be different. He said to the graduating class, can you imagine how different our society and our countries could be? And so we've got catching up to do with our Indigenous communities. And we have lots to learn from the wealth of knowledge of the immigrants of this country. My parents were immigrants. They came here in 1951. Lucky us that I get to live in the country, this beautiful country, and invite all the great talent to grow and do wonderful things with that great degree that you have. So I wish you all the best. And I'm up here proving to every one of you, I'm an average kid, average farmer's daughter coming from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. Little community, 8,000 people. 9,000 people in the John Molson School of Business. Can you imagine? And I did it. And I did it without having to be abusive. I did it without having to be authoritarian. I did it with my integrity, with the respect I have for people, and honesty. And these are things that the business community needs from every one of you. So go out, prosper, do well, and have a wonderful graduation. Thank you.
Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Dr. Verschuren, for those wonderful, wonderful remarks. It's truly a privilege for us to have someone of your stature and your accomplishments as part of the Concordia community. And I hope that for the graduating class of the John Molson School of Business 2019, it's difficult to find a better role model, not only for success today, but for a vision of what business leadership should be like for tomorrow. So thank you again.